Hello YouTube, what is up? Commando here with a video. Obviously, we're in the Kemandime channel doing a chill in the chill room. Now, if you've come to this video, it's my understanding that you are looking to get into buying weeb garbage. Anime figures. You filthy degenerate. Well, this is the video for you. This is going to be the ultimate anime figure buying guide. Boom, 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 boom. Other way. Boom. And I'm going to hopefully give you all the information you need to make informed purchases now going forward. If you maybe bought some figures in the past, or maybe you've been burned, or you don't really know where to go or what to do, it's kind of all overwhelming. All you know is that you want Rem with no skirt on. You just want Rem in her panties. That's all you know. And I'm here to help you achieve that end, that goal of yours, that essential oil that you can lather all over her. Yes. For cleaning purposes, of course. Of course. Anime figures. There's a lot of them. Different sizes, different shapes, different options, but let's stick to scaled figures and Figmas and Nendoroids and stuff like that. First off, you're going to want to choose a storefront, alright? You're going to decide where you want to buy these things from. Do you want to get them locally? Maybe you live in a big city that has a local comic or video game hobby shop that has some reasonably priced anime figures, and they're reliable at getting new ones that come out. Go there, check into their prices, and see. A lot of local places might be really overpriced, so just check them out and see what they offer. Because when you order online, you're typically ordering overseas from Japan. Depending where in the world you are, I'm in Canada. It can get really expensive really fast when you throw shipping on there. Plus, exchange rate, currency, the yen, it's stronger than the Canadian dollar right now. So everything's just eating me in the bum. Just boom, boom, boom. It's too much. But I still order them anyway. The next thing you're going to want to look at is the figure that you want exclusive, meaning, you know, limited, only available in like one storefront, like exclusive to AmiAmi, or maybe it's a native figure. They're typically exclusive to their online store. And then there's a couple middlemen you can use to get around that. So determining those factors, you're going to choose which storefront you want to approach. If it's a commonly available figure, you can shop around. There's a few places you can look. First and foremost, AmiAmi. It's my go-to. I've been going there for almost 10 years. Kind of become a figure monopoly. Their prices used to be the best on the market. They used to be really competitive. Now not so much, because they just get all the traffic anyway, and they pull in a bunch of exclusive figures. But that's business, I guess. So AmiAmi, really reliable. They get figures that are commonly available or exclusive to themselves. If you want to shop around, you can check out other alternatives. There's a bunch. There's so many different outlets. Shop around for prices. See what you can see. But personally, I just stick with AmiAmi. They have a point system. I've been going with them for years. Gonna want to look into whether or not the storefront that you go with offers a pay now function or a pay later function. Nippon Yasan, which is a kind of middleman company that I use to get some native figures before they started shipping directly to Canada, they've got all sorts of cool shit. You can pay now, you can pay as soon as you place the order, or you can wait, you know, and pay later when the figure is ready to ship. Maybe your dollar will go up. Maybe the yen will go down. Who knows? Maybe you just don't have the money and you need to save up because you just bought a $400 waifu body pillow that's the size of the ceiling, and you sleep with that daily. There are many reasons why you want to pay later for anime figures, but mainly being able to save up for a figure that you know is coming up makes it a little easier. Order combining. Some storefronts offer the ability to order combine things. AmiAmi, for example, I'm going to use AmiAmi a lot because, again, it is the one I'm most familiar with. If I place an order for a figure that comes out in October, and then 2 months later I place an order for something that also comes in October, I can combine them into the same shipment, so I only get charged for shipping once for the two of them. Also, if you have an order at the end of the month you're currently in, saying it's October again, and I have a figure coming out at the end of October, maybe I want these card sleeves right now. It's October. Boom, order the card sleeves. I can put them in the order that's shipping at the end of the month and combine the shipping fee once again. It's fantastic. Don't not do that. There's no reason not to not do that. If you're in the AmiAmi pre-owned section, you have a figure coming out at the end of the month, and you want to order a pre-owned figure, you can just take that figure and put it in your order for the end of the month as well. So really pay attention and see how order combining works for different websites and different retailers. HLJ has a pretty decent system with combining your orders, but I haven't used them in a long time. And again, AmiAmi makes it really easy. So check into that if that's something you're interested in, because that's an important factor determining where you're going to buy your figures from. The next thing you want to look into is how the company that you're ordering from handles figure delays. AmiAmi now, they didn't used to do this, will pop a figure out of your order and move it to the month in its own order that it comes out. So say that figure that's coming out in October, the company, it's Ultra, let's say, or Orchid Seed, that figure just got delayed by 3 months. Wonderful. That sucks. This figure that was now coming out in October is coming out in February. Well, shit. Okay, how does that work? I have sleeves coming out at the end of the month in the same order. Oh no, are they going to move my whole order to February? No. Guys, no. They take the figure out and they move it into its own order for February. So now your sleeves will be ready to ship, and they're probably going to charge you for them. At which point, you can choose a cheaper shipping option that's smaller, like SAL, or whatever shipping method you choose. That's about as far as you need to know for storefronts. That's the kind of information you're going to want to look into. Just to briefly go over, local or online. You want to shop local, you want to get online. And then where online? Locally online, like in your state, country, or import directly from Japan, from places like AmiAmi or HLJ, like I've discussed. Is the figure limited availability? Can I only get it at this one place? And if I get it somewhere else, are they going to charge me extra because they ordered it from the place that I could have just gone to directly? Do you want to pay now or pay later? Can you afford the figure right now, or do you want to wait? Some don't give you the option. AmiAmi doesn't have a pay now function, so far as I'm aware to this day. But you know, as soon as that figure's ready to ship, you got a week to pay for it, so hopefully you're ready. Because they don't take kindly to cancellations too well. How does their order combining work? Can you combine figures that you ordered in the same month? Can you combine a figure that was a pre-order with a new order in the same month? Can you split the orders into 2 separate shipments so that one could be cheaper, one could be more expensive? These are questions that you'll have, and you should ask every time you choose a online figure retailer. Finally, again, how do they handle delays? What are they going to do to my figure if it gets delayed? Are they going to push the whole order? Are they going to move the order? Are they going to cancel it? Am I going to have to reorder it? There's a plethora of ways different companies go about doing this, so it's best to look into their policies on store websites or email them for information. Big topic number 2. Very important factor when determining which figures you're going to buy, because again, you just want Rem with no skirt on, but you're going to want to know which company she's coming from, right? Because not all companies are created equal, and not all figures are created equal. Some companies are just objectively trash, and they know they're trash, so they don't charge very much. Some companies are trash, and they think they're not trash, and they have sky-high prices. So look into the history of the company that you're ordering from. Alter, for example. Pretty fantastic pedigree. I don't think anyone's ever had any major issues with them in the last 15 to 20 years. They have the highest bar of quality I've seen for any figure company on the market to this day. And their quality has been improving, if not staying consistently amazing over the years, which, other companies not so much. They've been kind of going downhill a little bit and their prices have been going up. Look into the company that you're ordering the figure from. Look at that company's figures in the cost to quality ratio. Is the company's quality up to the cost? If not, it might be a little safer to wait to hit that pre-order button. Price of the figure might go down after launch. Typically, people expect figures to be kind of an investment. It's not always the case. A lot of figures do go up in the aftermarket, that is true, but it depends on a lot of factors: character, company, quality, limitations, availability, all sorts of things. So, the final product versus the prototype. Some companies have a very good pedigree where it's almost 1-to-1. The prototype equals the product. Like Alter, guaranteed. There's going to be almost no difference. The prototype and the final product are going to be completely identical, if not close enough, like 99% chance. But then some Levi figure, I'm posting a picture of it, it's hideous. The prototype looked fantastic. This was going to be the Levi figure from Attack on Titan. Everybody was in on it. It was super hype. The final product was not up to par with the prototype. In fact, it was so significantly worse that people were demanding refunds, people were boycotting. I don't know how the company's doing these days, but hopefully they've improved their ways, because that's not the kind of impression you want to leave on people. Alright, the third major thing you want to take into consideration when ordering figurinos for your weeb degenerate needs: pre-order or aftermarket. It's a very important question, because sometimes a figure will come out and it's exorbitantly overpriced. 20,000 yen? 1/8 scale? I don't think so. Not today, Kotobukiya. So who knows? You think maybe that figure will go down in the aftermarket. Maybe it'll go down by like 5k yen 3 or 4 months after it comes out. Or it'll be completely sold out, skyrocket to 25k, and it's impossible to get. You don't know. The only way to really kind of try and guess: look at the company that's making it, look at their history of figures, how many have sold out, do they overproduce, the character, the type of figure. Lolly figures, for example, because again, we're all filthy degenerates, hentai figures tend to sell out if they're from a well-known company and they've got good quality pedigree behind them. And then their aftermarket shoots up. So you gotta gauge who's doing what, who the character is, the availability of the figure. You know, is it a limited exclusive to AmiAmi, or is it a commonly available one that's going to be everywhere? And then the hype level, the level of hype behind it. You can go on places like MFC and see how many people are talking about it. You can see how many people have the figure wished, how many people have the figure ordered, and you can gauge exactly how popular a figure is just by looking at these analytics on the MFC pages for figures you want to order. Hopefully glean some information on whether that pre-order button is shiny enough for you to click, or if you're going to wait and maybe get dicked out of an extra yen in the aftermarket. And then, of course, there's always the chance of a re-release. Love them or hate them, they happen. So, especially these days when figures are becoming more and more mainstream, more popular, anime is rising in popularity as Western media falls apart. Japanese media is really all we have left. Alright, the fourth thing you want to take into consideration when buying your weeb delights and weeb goodness is aftermarket. A previously owned figure. Do you want to buy a figure that might have been in some unsavory hands? There's a couple places online you can go that are pretty safe, and they gauge the quality of the item pretty well. Again, I'm going to shill these guys. AmiAmi Pre-Owned. I've bought a fair few figures from AmiAmi Pre-Owned, and they rate their figures very generously. Item A, box A. So basically A through C for an item, and box quality, it tells you the condition of those two pieces of information. So if you don't care about a box and the item is listed as A and the box is listed as C, you know the box is going to be trash, but the item inside is going to be top kek, right? They're pretty generous. I've got an item B, box B figure that wasn't even open. It said the item was B, but the figure was completely sealed. And normally if a figure is sealed, it'll be S rating. So it'll be almost impossible to tell if the figure's been opened or not. And sometimes the quality is really high. I've never had any issues with AmiAmi Pre-Owned. I've bought about 10 figures from them, and the prices were great. The figures were relatively old, and they were harder to come by. I was not disappointed. And bonus, AmiAmi Pre-Owned items, you can put them in existing pre-orders for the same month. So if you're got a figure coming out at the end of the month and you're shopping around, you can just, I want to get this pre-owned figure, but you can't afford it right now. Maybe you get your check in 2 weeks. 2 weeks at the end of the month, you know, your figure comes up at the end of the month, just smash it in there, smash it right in their box, and then you can order them both together when I call upon your funds for shipping. You can also go to a place like Mandarake. It works very similar to AmiAmi Pre-Owned. I've personally never used them, but I have some friends who have, and people on MFC, which is my figure collection, not my free cams, will also be able to give you some information. There's a bunch of articles on that website in dealing with Mandarake and AmiAmi Pre-Owned, and different reviews of different figures from each of those respectively. eBay. Alright guys, I'm going to give it to you straight and narrow. 9 times out of 10, you do not ever want to go to eBay. Ever. Okay, ever. For the love of God. Don't use eBay to buy anime figures. If you see an anime figure on there, and you know for a fact that figure is $150 and it's $30 and it's from China, it's a bootleg and it's not worth the plastic it's made out of. Bootlegs hurt the industry so much, and they hurt people. The paints they use is toxic, the materials can be toxic. Nobody gets only the bootlegger gets the money there. The company, the studio, the industry, none of it gets any of the money, just the bootleg a-hole. So don't buy bootlegs. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Avoid eBay like the plague unless you see some pretty legitimate bidding wars for highly sought after figures that are relatively rare. I've bought one figure on eBay, and it was Mizure Shirayuki from Rosario Vampire. Super limited, super gone. The figure, the company that made her went out of business. She came out 11 years ago at this point, but eBay's really the only place to find her. She doesn't really show up on places like AmiAmi or Mandarake. MFC. Buying figures on MFC is generally pretty safe. The people in that community are typically pretty awesome. Everybody's all in it for the same reason. The love of anime figures, titties, and pantsu, okay? Everybody loves that stuff. So you can find different sales listed for each figure on their figure pages. Some people make selling articles. You can message people directly and ask them if they might be interested in selling figures. Don't typically recommend it. If people want to sell stuff, they usually let everybody know. You can check the comments. People will say if they're selling a figure, or they'll link to places where you can buy it. So there's a lot of useful information and people on MFC. Made a good few friends on there myself. I've been using it as a figure resource for 8 years, 7 years, somewhere in there. The site's only improving as more members get into the mainstream hobby that is anime figure collecting. Okay, so it's not totally mainstream, but it's definitely less stigmatized as it was 10 years ago. So, and it's still kind of stigmatized, so that's not saying much. Another place you can check for pre-owned figures or aftermarket figures is your local classifieds. You know, maybe you got fellow weebs in your city, you're in a big city. Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, Craigslist, these are all places you can look to see if people are selling some figures that you might want. Of course, the risks that are associated with those things still stand, you know. Don't do anything sketchy with sketchy people. Ask for pictures, ask to inspect the figure first, make sure it's not a bootleg. Meet in a public space, all that, you know all that stuff. But basically just be careful with local classifieds, but typically fellow weebs, they want to sell their stuff to buy more weeb shit. So, yeah. Us weebs, we're not the financially stable people we would like to be. I wonder why. And finally, in closing, resources. I've mentioned it many, many times in this video already. My Figure Collection, aka MFC. Check them out. Make an account. You can catalog your whole collection. You can see all the upcoming figures that are coming out. They get announced and they get posted by wonderful users like you and me into the new listings categories. You can check out the new listings for figures added every day, especially giant bulk editions every time there's some kind of figure-related expo like Wonder Festival and Winter One Fest and Summer One Fest, which is basically like the E3 of anime figures, where figures are announced, painted, sculpts are revealed, new upcoming figures are revealed, and they add these things right on the website from their conceptual stage, like a picture. So if you see a picture of a figure or a picture of a character coming up and it says this figure's coming from this company, you know for a fact that that figure's coming from anywhere from 1 to 10 years from now. It depends on the company, but you can follow the progress of these figures. You can wish list figures. You can add them to your own little custom lists for easy access. You know, I personally keep track of several figures that get announced in the last 2 or 3 years. Turnover for a figure from conceptual phase to production is really long, so don't be surprised if you're waiting multiple years for a figure to even get sculpted or painted, let alone put up for pre-order, and then eventually released a year or 2 after that. To be there, I put her in my wish list 3 or 4 years before she even came out, so 2 or 3 years before she even was thinking about coming out. She went up for pre-order, and then her release wasn't for a whole year after that, so don't get too excited, but just know that you can keep an eye out on all upcoming figures and the progress of those figures on those figure pages, which you can catalog into a wish list and different articles for your viewing pleasure. And keep track of companies and other people. Make friends, you know? Post articles, discussions, you have questions, you can ask them. This is a great resource. When figures go up for pre-order, they typically come out of the draft stage and they're ready to be ordered, and in the listing it says where they're available. Comments will say where they're available. People will post letting you know where you can order the figure. So if you're ever like, oh god, this figure's coming out, where can I get it, what can I do? Go to the page on MFC, just chill out. Go to the page on MFC, look at the comments, read the description. Is it limited? Is it exclusive? No? You probably get it on AmiAmi, HLJ, those kind of places. If it is, holy shit, now you gotta freak out. Where do you get this fucking thing? You want it now. Now I say, chill out. Check the resources, check the websites, see where it's available. Figure pre-order windows are fairly large, especially for non-limited figures. You have until they come out to pre-order them, unless they sell out during pre-order, which isn't likely, but it does happen sometimes, so you gotta be careful. And I think that about does it for this video, you guys. It was probably a little long. I was running out of breath, talking about a lot of stuff. Hopefully I didn't repeat myself too many times. That's for me to deal with in editing. But I greatly appreciate your view. Thank you for watching. If you want more figure and anime related content, check out my channel. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the Weeb Zone. Peace.